the microphone to a board member of something, which also brings this conversation. I guess it's just a conversation about nonprofits. I think it brings into the conversation this too is like what I tell the kids that I mentor is that like they're starting a nonprofit, right? They got a little skate brand, Afterlife. It's going to be a nonprofit. They're actually going to be running the Push for Peace program in a minute. But with them, it's like they have to start a nonprofit now. So on their portfolio and resume, they have actual experience in whatever that they're doing now. Because let's be real, if you start an LLC and on your resume it says, the CEO of, whatever shirt brand that you have, nobody's going to really give that respect on a resume. They're going to clearly know like, oh, this is just his thing because, he's asking me for a freaking warehouse job right now, right? So, but if your resume said I have 15 years in this, like, it's still a hat company or a clothing thing, but it's a nonprofit. So you're like, oh, I've been a board member of the such and such, da 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 da. So when people see that you were a board member and then you worked your way up from secretary to president or whatever, when people see that on my resume, they're not really looking into like who started the nonprofit with it, because it's just not something people do, right? When you have that also, it's like for the kids that I was talking about, right? They're going to go to school, they're going to get degrees and everything, but that whole getting that receipt thing from a college, getting a degree, it's like that's practice, right? I mean, that's not practice, that's theory. It's not practice, but because they were since 15, 16, 17, like whatever that they're going to school for, they've been doing it on a professional level. So when they do a cover letter and, they're 21 years old and they're saying, somebody's looking at their resume and saying, how do you have, 5 years or 7 years of experience in this? You just got out of school. Their cover letter is going to say that. It's just going to say, I used to intern for this nonprofit, not this and that. Do they need to know that you made the nonprofit or that this and that? They could look up the nonprofit and see that it's real, right? So that's the thing. Also, too, it's stuff like this. You don't really realize a lot of the things that are around you that are nonprofits that are like ruining your life. And that's when we get into like the industrial complex part. And I hear a lot of people say that like they hate nonprofits, but you don't hate nonprofits. You hate people perverting the science of nonprofits, right? You have democracy and you have like capitalism. And then these two things, they've made a baby called the free market. And in my mind, I've heard this from an economist somewhere, but there's like three parts of the free market, right? One is the public, private, and the nonprofit sector. So the private sector, just like businesses, like people that are on like the like I don't know if Walmart's on the stock market, but just people that have like private businesses and stuff like that, right? And then you have the public, which is me and you and everybody within it. I'm talking about the government. So from the municipal, state, and the federal, that's the public. And then you have the nonprofit sector. Do you know it's so funny? This right here, this trifecta, this is like your real voting power right here. Because you know how capitalism is like people will spend money on whatever they like the most, which is going to cause this guy to make a better product or whatever. Well, that's basically what's going on with this, right? But with like your life. So let's say like the government is not helping you with a specific issue in your immediate neighborhood, right? The public's not helping you, and then the private sector, these businesses, they're not helping you. They're probably causing the problem. So that's why the nonprofit sector exists, is because basically you're stepping in saying, hey, we need help with this over here, and the government's not helping us, so we're doing it ourselves, and you can't tax us for doing your job. Basically, you become basically, since you're doing the government's job, they don't tax you, and whatever that the business makes you kind of become like a de facto government for that in your area. Like Ocean Orgs, it's our nonprofit code is A20, which is general arts and culture. So basically, it's like I'm an authority on arts and culture around here. ChatGPT, the people that own that or whatever, that's a nonprofit. And so this whole time, you like, yes, they are people from the Silicon Valley that probably already had money and stuff, but they were also getting like government grants this whole time, you know, to do the, this nonprofit thing, this charitable cause or whatever. And then, yeah, they completely ruined your life. And now they're actually trying to change it from a nonprofit to an actual like corporation, which people like Elon Musk are saying, no, you can't do that, which is funny because he's usually on some weird stuff. That's a whole different topic. He's just mad that he can't be a part of the thing anymore. But yeah, like a lot of things around you are nonprofits, and instead of asking for loans, they have like a grant calendar, and they know when all the grants are dropping, and they're applying for the grants and getting the money. A lot of the organizations that you see, they're like big organizations, like they're like within your local community, right? You're like, oh, this is a big organization. Those were literally just people down the street that got together and started a nonprofit. That's literally what that is. Like, we got this people in Long Beach called Libre, right? And I don't really know like their backstory, but it's like they're just people, they're just people. And because they've activated and been around the city of Long Beach, the city council members, they look at them as those people. And so, the city just gave them the city of Long Beach just gave them $800,000 to do like this land trust situation. $800,000. And then somebody in the community told me like, yo, I got word that half of that money is gone already. And so Libre texts me sometime to show up places, and one day I just asked him like, hey, is that money almost gone? Like, did you guys already spend half of it? And they told me like, yeah, we have to get consultations and we do this and that, da-da-da. And so that's where all the money's going for all the homelessness. And where California's getting all this money, and then it's kind of like privatization. Like, instead of solving the thing yourself, the government, they give it to this nonprofit that's supposed to be doing that, and then that nonprofit just pays everybody and just goes home, and it's legal. So what I'm asking some of you guys to do is just like start nonprofits. One thing that they say about nonprofits is like, you don't want to start a nonprofit for something that somebody else is already doing in your community. And it's like, yeah, but what if they suck? So you guys actually have to start a nonprofit and get in. And like, yeah, there may be a nonprofit doing that. They're not doing it the way it should be done. You have to go in and like, fill that space and start raising it up and start organizing and getting all the things together. And that's just for like regular community stuff. Now, just as a business, yes, your business should be a nonprofit because you probably do want to help people. I'm not going to get into the whole thing and how to start a nonprofit, not in this video, but basically you have to incorporate in your state, and basically it's based off your mission statement, okay? So when you get the articles of incorporation at the bottom, right, like when it says 3, what's the mission statement? The mission statement of Ocean.org is to provide a creative and safe space for youth, artists, and entrepreneurs to build skill, trade, and income in the city of Long Beach, California. So once you have that, you've incorporated, and the state mess with you. You have to get something called a FEIN number, which is, I think it stands for the Federal Entity Identification Number, and that's like the Social Security number for your nonprofit. You have to take your articles of incorporation and say, hey, I've made this entity. You have to take those articles to the IRS just on the website and stuff and be like, yo, this is the entity that I got, and I want to get a EIN number for it. But I want the EIN number to be under like the nonprofit stuff, because they're going to ask you like, are you a LLC? Da-da-da, are you trying to be a nonprofit? Once you do the nonprofit, there's going to be another thing. Remember how I said we're 820, those are the codes? It's going to be a fat list of codes you could go through. So we just chose 820, and then, what they're going to do, what the IRS is going to do from there, so you're going to look back at that mission statement. And if it sounds charitable, then they'll give you the tax exemption. That's it. And then from there, you have to come back into the state and show the state, hey, I'm tax exempt from the federal government. Can you guys tax exempt me too? And then that's it. Now you got to, basically, it's just the articles of incorporation, just how you were just going to start a C Corp or an LLC anyway, literally. And then it just turns into a nonprofit by what your mission statement says and the and the EIN number that you have. That's it. And so you have to do that so you can help people. And also too, like, dude, my life, this is the part. So the phone that's recording this, that's streaming to the computer, this microphone that you're looking at, this shirt that I'm rocking, this hat that I have on, I didn't pay for any of it. I didn't. Do you know what I do? I go around like this. Hey, people, I broke my phone. I need a new phone. I need a new phone so I could do all the nonprofit work and stuff like that, so I could talk to y'all every day and make it happen, baby. But I'm not gonna buy a phone. I know you guys buy phones every year, so I know you guys have a phone in your closet somewhere in your drawer. Give it to me, and if you give it to me, I'll give you a donation receipt, and you can use that as a tax deduction and you know, for your taxes. So like this microphone, shout out Sue, gave me the microphone, and I gave her a donation receipt, and now this microphone is actually, that didn't happen, but you see what I'm talking about? Like, this is my friend's thing. She's letting me borrow it, but in most situations, like that phone, that tripod, that computer that's streaming all this, these were things that were like donated to the nonprofit, and then the nonprofit get, like, I don't own anything. All the stuff that I get, I'm like, ooh, I need that, and I immediately just hand it over to the nonprofit. If I got a car tomorrow, if somebody gave me a car, I'd be like, no, put it in the nonprofit name, you know? And then I'm able to give them a donation receipt, and then the government gives them back the money. That's literally how it works. And you can look it up. And I know that sounds like a scam, but it isn't. It isn't. Like, it's the nonprofit stuff. If somebody came like this, like these things, they were donated. And because they hold value, I was able to look it up and go, oh, thanks for that. And I sent them a donation receipt, and now they're getting the money back as a tax deduction on their tax return. And so, yeah, I know there is a complex, but the thing is that you guys don't, you know, you guys aren't doing what you need to basically to get to that level. So that's what it is. I will expand on this more, and I know I was rambling and just talking, but this is my first video, and I just wanted to come up on here and get some stuff established, and just kind of just rant about nonprofits. So I'm gonna get out of here. If you like this hat, you could get it from @Molino LBC on Instagram. That's MOLINOLBC on Instagram. If you like this shirt, the Plyonese shirt, everybody say Plyonese, but this is like, you know how people say Angelino for people that live in Los Angeles. Plyonese is ours. People think it's Plyonese. It's okay, but it's playa for people of the beach, like playa in Spanish, right? Beach. If you like this shirt, you could go to longbeachcounty.com/shop. It's right up in there with a lot of other stuff. We also got resources up on there. I haven't really posted content in a minute, but I do need to get back on that, and that is it. I'm a post this up just as a little whoop-de-whoop, just to get the conversation started. But I appreciate you just listening to me just talk and stuff. And yes, I was never going to show you my face. That's crazy, but you know, whoop-de-wham. Really appreciate you guys, man. Stay safe, stay positive. Keep your shit on 90 degrees, and don't let these punk motherfuckers discourage you. You heard? I'm gone.